The Indian passenger vehicle market continues to be very promising and yet at the same time highly competitive, increasingly more so. But even then, there are players who are still not giving up and in fact wants to enhance their presence with some new strategies in place. One of them is French car major Renault. And with me, I have Mr. Venkatram Mamillapalle, who is the MD and CEO of Renault India. Venkat, thanks for sparing your time.
Thank you very much.
And Venkat has just launched the new Triber, a compact MPV. So let's start with that, Venkat. This also marks the first step of your revival strategy for Renault in India, because your presence had scaled up at some point to a shade below 3%, close to 3%, which is significant for a foreign car maker in India, which, as we know, is dominated by 2 or 3 players. But it's now slid down below 1% or so. So do you see this kind of Triber doing into its essence of being a workhorse, leading the revival?
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. First of all, I would not call it as MPV, it is an SUV. So let's rephrase Fire as an SUV.
Sure.
Having said that, the global strategy has evolved for India over a period of time. And it started off with an investment announcement in 2023 of 5,400 crores. And launching, at that point of time, we said we will be launching 4 products. And the first product is today what you witness. And then we have subsequently 3 more products to come in next 2 years. Yes, no doubt that we in 2019-20, we were at about near to 3% market share. And today we are below 1%. And we know the reasons. I did explain many times why we are here. There are many other issues which are behind that, whether you start from COVID, then the semiconductors, then the Ukraine-Russia war, which led to Renault in Europe into trouble.
To focus, and also at the same time, forced Renault to focus more on home turf.
Home turf, and then expand further into international market. So the revival plan started for Korea. They are on board now. Very well job done. Then you have Latam, which is picking up as well. So now it's a turn for India. And with Triber launching today, that's the starting point. And our road to success has started. So we should see a rapid success coming in our fold in India.
When you say the journey for rapid success, what would be the next milestone? Let's say if you want to quantify, just for the benefit of, to get a flavor of.
As I said that in next 2 years, we have 3 products to be launched, and we'll announce the timing as
next 2 years, 3 or 4 products more?
3 products.
3 more, including
4 products. 1 is done, and 3 more on the anvil.
Right.
And as and when the time comes, we'll definitely announce. And thanks to the team who are working on this from our engineering, design, as well as the plant, they are very supportive of it. And thanks to the corporate, where they are also giving an extensive support. And this progression should make sure that Renault India should be into the right path.
One reflection of your bet on India was you buying out your alliance partner Nissan stake in the manufacturing facility, right? But now you have a more than ample capacity. But then the viability of a manufacturing plant also is reflected by its utilization level.
Yeah.
Currently, it's very low.
So we are below 50% today, and with the current product lineup, what we have, including exports. And as we add the new product lineup, obviously the capacity utilization will improve. I cannot quantify a number and tell you that this is where we will be in a specific time frame, but the endeavor is there, that use the capacity as much as possible. And the new products should help us in doing it so, between the alliance partner and us, because we will also be making for them. And this complements, the volume will complement the plant utilization.
Just a follow-up question. As you did in the manufacturing setup, is there any kind of plan, if not a plan, at least some kind of contemplation of doing the similar thing for RNTBCI also, your technology, global technology
Nothing
center?
as of now. We will continue to have the alliance partner in RNTBCI, and that will stay as is.
Okay. And when you talk about adding more volume models in a portfolio, which means India could also grow as even a stronger or bigger sourcing hub for Renault globally?
It depends, because The European FTA is coming on board from 1st of October. We don't know the details inside. It has just been announced yesterday evening. And once we have the details, probably we have to compete with the rest of the world of Renault world. I mean, that how well we can be cost competitive and on a landed basis.
Okay.
Not just the manufacturing, but on the landed
basis. Okay.
If we are, obviously, we may get the opportunity. We may, and not necessarily. But it all depends on how good are we in India as Renault manufacturing unit.
And currently, if I'm not wrong, you said it's into the tune of over 170 million euros worth of components being sourced by you.
Yes, correct.
And another interesting thing which I observed is Renault takes a little bit of a contrast stance by me as compared to your industry peers in India in terms of playing in the segments of entry level. You said that you are not exiting the A segment, which is where you play with the Quid. And in fact, you're planning to come up with a new version of it. What gives you that confidence wherein some of the other players, significant ones, are kind of exiting that?
We did not say that I'm coming with a new version of it. We only said that Quid is a player in the marketplace and there are two manufacturers in India. One of them is mine, and we will continue to service the market as long as the regulation allows it. And thanks to my sales and marketing team, Mr. Francisco is doing a great job in pushing the product into the market. And I'm sure there is no plan of exit, to be very frank and open. How long we will continue, I cannot comment on that.
As an industry veteran, do you see, given the India's composition in terms of its per capita income and the way the economy is growing, while the upper end cars, they are seeing more and more appetite, but do you expect a revival of the hatchback, which was the better bread and butter segment of the Indian passenger vehicle industry?
At this point of time, the market is looking mostly on the SUV side of it. Yeah, and 65% of the market is SUV. Having said that, it is difficult to say whether tomorrow sedans or hatchbacks or fastbacks will not be accepted or not. I mean, it depends upon the generation change. The Gen Zs today is looking at SUV. We don't know what happens next generation, how they would look up to the car models. And it also depends upon your feature richness, tech into the cars, safety of the cars, your roads and infrastructure. Everything will define to that. And today you have SUV growing up significantly because of your basic infrastructure demands for it, whether it is a ground clearance or because of your speed breakers and the road conditions and so on and so forth. So that acceptance has normally is being done. Tomorrow your infrastructure is different. Probably, yes. I can't promise you that it will be, but possible.
Talking about SUVs, Renault itself started its India journey with an SUV. The Duster. In fact, probably still it may still hold to be true. In some markets, Duster is more popular than Renault. But there was a gap for the Duster. I can understand because of the emission regulations and safety regulation are thereabouts. But now, how soon do you plan to restart the Duster story?
We have announced the B Plus and the C SUV, and we haven't said any name to it. As I said again, 4 products in 2 years. The first one is here, and the other 3 products encompasses B Plus and C SUV as well. So please show your patience, and we will be back soon.
On hindsight, would you have liked to continue the Duster even in only petrol form?
Good question. My personal view, I'm not talking as a managing director of Renault. Duster is a loved product by the customers, and I'm sure we could not have volumes when we were discontinuing it in 2018 December, and it was a tough call. Actually, we discontinued in 2019. It was a tough call, no doubts. But the love what they have towards Duster probably should have been continued. But was it viable for Renault? No, it wasn't. Because when you are talking about 300 products, 300 cars per month, it wasn't viable. It is a decision which is economically you have to take. So
it also qualifies as a case of head versus heart.
Yeah, correct.
So, and talking about, you also mentioned that as part of your, at least if long term definitely, but midterm also, multi-energy Could you just give us some more, define it a little bit more for us in terms of what do you mean when you say you plan to have a multi-energy play? You already have announced the CNG.
We have CNG and gasoline already, sorry, petrol. For Renault globally, we are into ethanol in Brazil. We even do 100% ethanol there. We have HEVs and EVs in Europe. Everything is at the arm's distance. It's not that we have to do some innovation to find out the technology and then put it in the marketplace in India. It's only, as I'm telling, that it's ecosystem, regulation, and the advantages which other countries give for a EV or HEV. The similar thing is expected out of India as well, which is not in a matured stage today, whether it is ecosystem, whether it is state by state taxation or the whole regulation as such. Until this maturity comes, the decision taking ability of ours is not there. So we are just waiting for time. We have technology in hand. It's easy for us to implement. When appropriate time comes, definitely we'll go into the multi-energy segments.
Because India, I mean, while it has made clear about its focus on electrification, is also on pushing the industry to move towards ethanol with the eventual goal of flex fuel. So you have all these opportunities here in India.
Sure. I mean, we all hear this, we are looking at hydrogen, we are looking at electric, we are looking at hybrid, we are looking at ethanol, we are looking at CNG, and we are looking at diesel, we are looking at gasoline. Some cases even LPG.
Okay. You're not giving up on diesel also?
We are not getting into diesel anymore. So we have exited and we are there. That's what we announced long ago and we stay there. It's not my statement. It's coming from very responsible people in the government that these are the energy segments which they would like to look for. We got to be very clear as a country that which direction as a nation we should take. If you see our neighbor country, that they are focused on one, everyone are aligned only on one
egg on that basket,
right? So that's the approach we should also take as a nation. If that is so, Renault is ready. We have everything in place, all the technologies in our portfolio across the world, not just, I'm not talking India as such, but Europe. Europe is our mother place and it's easy for us to adapt. But we are waiting for the direction, ecosystem, regulations, and blah, blah, blah.
Lastly, Venkat, if I'm not wrong, in 2024, the annual basis, India's ranking in Renault World was 13 with about 41,000 odd sales, which is less than maybe about 0.9% of, you can say flat, almost flat. So in the next, say, in this period of 4 years, where would you wish to get back to?
My recommendation is that this answer should be given by Francisco. He's sitting next to us. So I don't know. You may ask the question again to him so that he understands the question and let him answer, because he's the guy who's selling cars in India and he knows Renault globally also very well.
So Francisco, what would you say to that question?
Yeah, I think we have to make, I will not give a certain figure, but I will make just some hints. Today, number one market for Renault in the world is France. It's our mother country. But of course, India is a much bigger country than France. And we have a plant that now it belongs fully to us. In the midterm, if we get to full capacity of the plant and selling those cars and with the ambition of market share that we have, I think in a few years, it's quite feasible to consider that India will be the number one market in the world for Renault.
Oh, you see that kind of potential?
Yes, I see that kind of potential. You know, Renault is doing right now, let's say 20% in French market, which is for several years below 2 million cars. That makes it 400,000 cars. With the size of Indian market, the growth that we foresee, the cars that we are launching and having our full capacity with a plant, that's a figure that I believe we can go. Indian market is growing, European market is becoming smaller. So the trend, I think that's something that we can say at a midterm, that can be our target.
So when you say midterm, it maybe
easy for 2030, maybe coming 5 years.
Okay. On that note, that's a big ambition. And so on that note, wishing you and Venkat all the very best and your teams. And thanks for sparing this time and having this very candid conversation.
Thank you very much. A real pleasure.
Thanks, Venkat.
Thank you.